I would like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 6:15. Please join me for salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th and the 29th.
Second.
Motion's ordered. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Couple changes to the agenda tonight. First of all, we were going to meet in an executive session due to logistical issues raised about how the meeting, the verbiage with the executive session being posted. We need to postpone that until next week. We'll be doing that on December 10th at 6 p.m. We will have time to ensure that it's posted in compliance with open meeting law. Things happen. That being said, Madam Clerk, would you please go into the reading of the first public hearing?
Public hearing regarding the requested amendments to section 16-10 through 16-14 of the revised ordinances, water assessments, rates, connections, and use. Full proposal available at the City Council office, council@cityofattleboro.us.
Thank you. So I'm going to continue this meeting, this public hearing, until January 21st. Courtney was not able to make it down. I think that her input on this, given the water emergency we're in, is vital. And I spoke with the vice president and the mayor, and we agreed that, postponing it or continuing it until, January 21st was the right move. That is the only public hearing we had scheduled for this evening. Would now entertain a motion to go into committee of the whole.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We now in committee of the whole, if anyone wishes to bring any issue before the council. George, you good? Just making sure. I don't want to take you for granted. Gary? Okay. I'd entertain a motion to arise.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. We have arisen from committee of the whole, and we'll go on to a reading of the mayor's communication.
December 3rd, 2024. Dear Municipal Council, I respectfully submit a communication from Council on Aging Director Kelly Lee regarding the filing of disclosure of financial interest by special municipal employee forms for the following part-time city and school employees who seek to participate in the Senior Tax Abatement Program. Mary E. Barrett, Diane Carlon, Lorraine Morell, and Joanne Ventola. Therefore, in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 268A, Section 20C and 20D, I hereby request your honorable body approve these exemptions regarding the financial interest identified by these special municipal employees, such that they may participate in the Senior Tax Abatement Program. All completed and approved forms will be filed with the city clerk.
Special Committee on Tax Abatement, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the receipt of an Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, from the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, MEMA, of $15,500. These funds may be utilized for emergency management-related activities and equipment procurement. The funds provided through this grant will be utilized to procure binocular, megaphone with siren, thermal imaging cameras, portable generators, decon wipes, and firefighting foam. The total cost for this equipment is $15,536. Therefore, acceptance of this grant will require $36 in additional funds from the city, which will come from available funds within the fire department budget. In accordance with Chapter 1, Section 12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body approve expending of such funds and any future grant amendments.
Public Safety and Emergency Management, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Schools David Sawyer regarding the following donations. 1 Houseplants for Beginners by Rebecca Lopez for high school library with an estimated value of $21.99. 3 books about plant and gardening for kids with Lucia Vigolini for the middle school libraries with an estimated value of $12 each. 5 books, The Reason for a Flower by Ruth Heller for elementary school libraries with an estimated value of $8.99 each. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need for funds to purchase a wireless headphone system for fire department training activities. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $8,285 from the Fire Employee Training account to the Fire Training Supplies account.
Public safety and emergency management, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance Mark Furtado regarding the following fiscal year 24 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal fiscal year 24 business cycle. The name of the vendor is Kevin DeBasio, $242.78, and Catherine Young, $184.48. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body authorize the school department to pay these previous school year bills totaling $427.26 as identified in Mr. Furtado's communication.
Finance committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Superintendent of Public Works Michael Tyler regarding the need to fund required repairs to the catch basin cleaning truck and mandated stormwater countermeasures plan for the Lamb Street facility. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $23,750.51 from Public Works salary and wages to the following: $13,750.51 to the Public Works Professional Services, $10,000 to account Public Works NPDES Services, supporting documents provided.
Public works, please.
Respectfully submit a communication from APS Director of Finance Mark Furtado regarding the need to enter into a 5-year food service software agreement with Heartland School Solutions. The school department entered into a contract in December of 2022, and at that time mistakenly thought it was a 3-year agreement. It was explained by the vendor that to seek a new contract, the district would incur higher costs. In accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, Section 12, Subsection B, any contract exceeding 36 months must be authorized by the local government body for procurement. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body to approve the 5-year contract with Heartland School Solutions.
Finance committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Fire Chief Scott T. LaChance regarding the need to pay 2 fiscal year 24 invoice from Firematic Supplies. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $2,550 from the citywide reserve fund for transfer account to the fire previous year bills account.
Public safety and emergency management, please.
This office received an invoice from YMCA of Attleboro Car Program for services provided in fiscal year 24 in the amount of $73.05. This program is used to provide transportation for residents with opioid use disorders. A vote authorizing payment is needed to satisfy this debt. There is no transfer of funds needed to pay this bill, as there is sufficient funding in the Fund 2519 opioid settlement funds.
Finance committee, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Attleboro Public Schools Director of Finance Mark Furtado regarding the following year's fiscal 24 fiscal obligations that were not received in time to be processed in the normal fiscal year 24 business cycle. Name of the vendor, Arden Engineering, $883.50. Arden Engineering, $16,623.65. And Allison Callahan, $1,000. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body authorize the school department to pay these previous year school bills totaling $18,507.15 as identified in Mr. Furtado's communication.
Finance committee, please.
I respectfully request your honorable body transfer $637.57 from citywide reserve fund for transfer account to the citywide bills previous year's account in order to pay previous year charges to National Grid due to an ongoing traffic light meter issue.
Public works, please.
Sincerely, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor.
Thank you very much. We'll now go on to a reading of the clerk's communication.
I have one item this evening. We have received a Class 2 renewal application from Seccong Gas Repairs, doing business as 123 Mobile of 300 County Street with 4 customer parking spaces and 9 display spaces.
I'll go to the license committee, please.
And that concludes communications.
Thank you. We'll now go into committee reports, and we will begin with Councilor Cobus.
Thank you. Reported for the Finance Committee from the docket of December 3rd, 2024. Move to authorize the Recreation Department to pay 2 fiscal year 24 bills for $839.52 to Fillion Associates Incorporated.
Second. Sorry.
We'll give that to Sarah. All right, motion is in order. Any comments?
It's a previous year bill for pool supplies.
Okay, Okay, additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Counselor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes? Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. And from the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to authorize the Attleboro Schools to pay a fiscal year '24 bill to Michael Whitefield for $298.82.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any questions?
It's a fiscal year '24 bill for expenses associated with travel.
Additional questions or concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
And that concludes the business for the Finance Committee, and I call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Very good. Counselor Fola.
Thank you.
The IT and Infrastructure Committee has no business this evening. I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Counselor Lavoy.
Thank you. Reporting for the License Committee. From the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to approve the amusement arcade license renewal from Market Basket, located at 1200 Newport Avenue, for 2 amusement rides.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
Pretty straightforward. Didn't test them. I didn't want to break them, but they looked good.
I'm sure Market Basket appreciates that.
Exactly.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of November 19th, 2024, I move to approve the following 2 Class 1 renewal applications from Courtesy Auto Group, Inc., doing business as Courtesy Kia Mitsubishi at 11 Scott Street, with 34 customer and 172 display spaces. JT Automotive LLC, doing business as Kia of Attleboro at 795 Newport Avenue, with 46 customer and 195 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
Pretty straightforward. Everything looked good.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of November 19th, 2024, I move to approve the following Class 2 renewal applications from Lean's Auto Repair, Inc. at 141 Pine Street, with 7 customer and 29 display spaces. Landmark Auto Sales, Inc. at 537 Washington Street, with 3 customer and 15 display spaces. State Line Auto Brokers, Inc. at 1115 Washington Street, with 6 customer, 42 display, and 55 storage spaces. C&A Millennium Motors, Inc. at 1844 County Street, with 10 customer and 8 display spaces. Classic Auto Sales LLC at 1100 Oak Hill Ave, with 5 customer and 23 display spaces. The Sean Motor Company, Inc. at 957 Washington Street, with 12 customer spaces and 55 display spaces. Mario Faria, doing business as Pinecrest Motors at 2117 County Street, with 5 customer and 15 display spaces. And Balacious Auto Group, doing business as Balacious of Attleboro at 800 Washington Street, with 6 customer and 124 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
I touched on it last week. Everything's pretty straightforward. I know that State Line Auto was on this list and had some issues in the past, but I went there 3 times this year, a couple surprise visits with something I'm trying to kind of put forward, and everything looked good.
That's good to hear, for sure. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of November 5th, 2024, I move to approve the following Class 2 renewal applications from Cartown USA, Inc. at 680 Washington Street for 9 parking spaces and 20 display spaces. Bristol County Auto Sales at 227 Pine Street for 12 parking spaces, 7 display spaces, and 24 storage spaces. Cam's Automotive Services, doing business as Paris Auto Body at 21 Charter Street for 9 parking spaces and 20 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
Pretty straightforward. Everything looked great.
Questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of November 5th, 2024, I move to approve the Class 1 auto renewal application from National Van Builders, Inc. at 70 to 84 Pine Street and 7 Parker Street for 8 customer parking spaces and 45 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Everything looked great.
Council Cobus.
I would just like to applaud the work that Councilor Lavoie's been doing on the licensing committee. It's just great to see the work that he's been doing this year. So as a freshman counselor, it's great. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That is all the business. Before I conclude, I just want to update that we will have the rest of these out next week in committee. I believe including the one that came in this evening, so we'll be good for the end of the year.
Perfect.
And with that, I will call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Lavoie. Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. From the docket of reporting for city property and claims, from the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept the generous donations to the Council on Aging from the Holiday Spirit Committee of $700 in Stop and Shop and Market Basket gifts cards.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I have none.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
On the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept the land donation to the city from Woodlark Development Corporation, shown as parcels B and C, as designated on the protected open space plan for Dove Lane, Attleboro, Massachusetts.
Oh, second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
On the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept the donation of $725 in Stop and Shop and Market Basket gift cards from the Holiday Spirit Committee to the Social Workers Office.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Have none.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
On the docket of November 5th, 2024, I move to amend Section 2-12 of the revised ordinances by striking the current section in its entirety and replacing it with the following Section 2-12, disposition of property, tangible property, supply.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments? Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Cobus.
Mr. Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoie?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Excuse me, Tavares. President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
That is all the business city property and claims has this evening, but I would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President Dolan.
Public Works has no business this evening and call for a committee meeting next appropriate time.
Thank you very much. Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Safety and Emergency Management Committee, from the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to transfer $1,640 from account Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account Citywide Transfer to Grant, and further transfer $1,640 to account MVP Green Stormwater for police details.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Tavares.
Mr. Tavares? Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoie?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Cobus? President Delicio?
Yes.
11 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all the businesses this evening. Call for committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Angelo.
Thank you, President Delicio. Reporting for Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. For the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to approve the appointment of Carol Katoya, 5 Greenfield Street, to the Taxation Aid Committee.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
We discussed in committee and very lucky to have Carol helping us out some more.
Very good. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Carol is the best. Glad to see her staying involved in the city. She'll bring a lot to this committee. So,
Absolutely.
all right, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept the donation of the Veterans Office of $70 in King Baba gifts vouchers from Jean and Donna Lavoie.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
We discussed the committee, but very thankful for the Lavoies.
Very good. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept a donation to the Veterans Office of $650 in Stop and Shop and Market Basket gift cards from the Holiday Spirit Committee.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Again, thank you so much, the Holiday Spirit Committee, doing a lot this year.
Every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this too is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 3rd, 2024, I move to accept a donation to the Veterans Office of $250 in Stop and Shop gift cards from the Rosemary Burrows.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Again, thank you, Rosemary.
This too is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
That's all for Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee. Call for meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor Angelo. We'll now go to Councilor Sawyer.
Thank you. Reporting for the Zoning and Land Use Committee. One item tonight, from the docket of October 15th, 2024, I move to approve the request to accept the overlay for the following Mass General Law 40AS.3A Rapid Transit Zoning Ordinance Amendment and approve amendments.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to just talk about this because we did have a shared public hearing with the planning board, and they passed it unanimously. And I know that there was talk in the committee meeting that it is an unfair statement that the state is doing, requiring us to rezone an area. But I wanted to also mention that this rezoning is more of a sort of renaming of the area because we're already putting housing in the area, as well as ARA developing in the TOD area, which is also to be housing. And so I wanted to mention that before we vote, and I do hope that we all approve this overlay.
Thank you. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Councilor Angelo.
Again, as Councilor Lavoy touched on last week, this is a strong overreach by the state of Massachusetts, and I personally don't care for it either, because where's it going to stop with these guys? But I will endorse it, just so that we're not losing out any of the endorsements and grants for the state. But I'm not thrilled with it.
Councilor Lavoy, Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you, President Delicio. Again, I just want to echo my comments from last week. I really think that this, as I said, is a really lousy movement by the state, withholding its taxpayer money at the end of the day, no matter how you want to cut it. So you're holding taxpayer money hostage from the city that taxpayers reside in, forcing their hand to build. So I don't agree, and I'm curious to see where the litigation goes with this. But as this stands, I will not support it. Thank you.
Councilor Reynolds.
So I was in opposition to it, but when Gary did the overlay, I approved it. I thought it was great because it is downtown. It is things we're doing already, so it's not necessarily, it's blackmail, but nonetheless, it will work out for this city, and even if we were to decide to build, it's not like we don't need it up here in this downtown area, so I will be supporting it.
Very good. Councilor Holmes and Councilor Fowa.
Thank you. So I do thank the planning department for working on this. With that being said, I wish that we band together with other communities that were pushing back, because I feel like if more communities had done that we would have had a stronger voice. This is the first step, not the last step. This is the first step of what they're pushing us to do. So we should be made aware that this will come before us again in another way. Also, this is a grant, $400,000 for a private citizen, and the state is holding that over our heads. So the council has to vote this way in order for a private citizen to get this grant. This is not the way to do things. It's in the middle of a litigation because this is the wrong way to go about creating growth in our community. So I'm sorry, for those reasons, I'm not going to be able to support this. That concludes my comments.
Thank you. Councilor Fowa, then Vice President Dolan.
I think it's a mistake to call it blackmail. I think it's perfectly legitimate for the state to use money to advance public policy, and in this case, the public policy is at least twofold that I can see. One is the use of public transportation, which is critical in this day and age, and the other is to reduce private green space, to reduce lawns and the use of water that kind of housing requires. So I will endorse this with enthusiasm. I don't see it as anything other than a public policy decision, and one in which I'm in favor.
Vice President Dolan.
Thank you. So I was really happy when Gary came before us and showed us the overlay, because I feel like we're killing two birds with one stone here, and you know, they're not forcing us to build, as Gary stated, you know, when he spoke with us and explained everything. I mean, I'm not going to rehash it, but Gary explained everything. They're not forcing us to build, and I agree. Is this the right way to go about it? No, where it's, you know, they're holding money over our head, and it's not the right way to go about it. But we also can't vote on what we have before us, on what we think will happen in the future. So we can't predict if anything further will come down, and if so, we have no idea what that could be. So I will be supporting this tonight.
Councilor Lavoy.
Thank you, I appreciate the leisure on that. I did the same thing last week, and I want to make sure I do it again this week. It takes twice, apparently. I did want to commend Gary and the planning board and the planning office's work on this. Like I said last week, I stand behind that. I think if this were to be forced, we're one of the best prepared in the Commonwealth to enact it. So my no vote is in no way transpiring that department. I just feel that I want to support the taxpayers on this, the citizens of Attleboro, and to coincide with other communities that are doing their part to push back. So that is the reason for my no vote, and not the actual zoning that we have laid out here in Attleboro. Thank you.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? I'd like to give up the seat.
President DeLucio?
Thank you. So I agree with the comments made here tonight. Councilor Holmes brings up very strong points. Councilor Angelo, Councilor Lavoy, and Councilor Reynolds. I have the utmost trust and respect in our city planner, and the overlay district makes it, to me, more palatable. It's something that we're already doing. It puts us in a better position to be able to handle some of this. I despise unfunded mandates. I despise state mandates. I despise the fact that, hey, we need more housing, we need more this, we need more that, but if you don't do what we want you to do, you're not getting the funding. I don't think any of us are comfortable with that. I have concern with what could come next, but as the Vice President said, I think we have to focus on what's in front of us. I think at the end of the day, I respect the planning board's opinion, Gary's opinion. I've worked closely with Gary when I was a member of the ARA, as a member of the EDIB, and as a member of this board. I think the overlay was a stroke of genius, and I think that, as I said, it does make this a lot more palatable. It puts us in a situation where we have more leverage than maybe some of the other communities that surround us. We do have 2 train stations in the city, and I think that this, hopefully, cautious optimism, is going to put us in a situation where we can leverage some of that a little bit better than otherwise we may have seen in the past. For those reasons, I'm going to hold my nose and I'm going to vote yes. But Gary, thank you to you and your team. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Kobus.
Mr. Kobus?
Yes.
Ms. Foa?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
No.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
No.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President DeLucio?
Yes.
9 yeas, 2 nays.
Motion passes.
Thank you,
That is-
Gary.
And that is all the business of the Zoning and Land Use Committee, and I call for a committee meeting of next appropriate.
Thank you, Councilor Waterman.
Thank you. Reporting from the Transportation and Traffic Committee, we have two motions tonight, or one motion and one strike. From the docket of November 19th, 2024, I would move to approve a no parking sign at the entrance to Steeplechase Complex on the right side to cut back on the hazard of entering the complex.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is on. Any comments?
Well, This actually was approved by our police chief and by the the Traffic Study Commission. And it will mean that the cars that do park on Steeplechase as they enter on the right won't be so close to the corner that there might be an accident.
Council Holmes?
Thank you. I think we discussed in committee, it was brought up that it should be, we should probably have the exact, like, how it's listed in the ordinance, like 200 feet from, it should be a little bit more detailed. I think we're going to hold off until we had those details, is my understanding.
Thank you. Council Angelo?
I agree with Council Holmes. We did discuss that, but I will support getting this taken care of because I've heard from a lot of, several residents over probably about a year's time frame that it was causing hazard. And but there is, I think, going along with this, there is going to be a certain distance that's going to take care of this, and that just needs to be recorded, I guess.
Okay, Council LaVoy, Council Reynolds, and Vice President Dolan.
Thank you. I just wanted to propose an amendment to this. The amendment would read, I move to approve a no parking here to corner sign at the entrance to Steeplechase Complex on the right side to cut back on the hazard of entering the complex.
Second.
Thank you.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
Yep. So after parking, you would just add here to corner.
So,
Second.
Vice President Dolan seconded it.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, no worries. Comments?
Certainly. So I've lived in this neighborhood for 12 years, so I have a bit of knowledge on it. I did visit this when it first came in, and I can see the need for that. Basically, it comes to a three-way intersection, and the issue is this side of the road, easterly side. The sign, in my mindset, upon agreement, would be from here, at the end of the bridge, to the corner, which the new road would ensue. I believe that would clarify any, issue with parking further up the road past that intersection.
Additional questions or comments on the amendment?
Well,
Vice President Dolan? We can always go back to the original motion if you need to make another comment.
I'll wait till we go back to the original motion.
Okay. Council Holmes?
Thank you. I feel like there's a consistent way to do this, and I don't know the exact words to use, but it usually does say a number like 150 feet or something of that nature, so I just don't know. I definitely support the motion. I just want to make sure we have the wording correctly done.
I agree with that. Mr. Waterman?
Yes. According to Chief Hegney, it should be placed 20 feet from the corner.
I'm sorry, my apologies, I didn't mean to speak like that.
No. Vice President Dolan?
So, all right, so we all support, I assume most of us support this. It's just, I know we discussed it in committee, and I know it was, a here to corner type thing. So like when you look in the ordinance books, it says no parking easterly side of Park Street from Pine Street to blah, 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 whatever. So again, I have no problem supporting this. I just feel like it's not a properly written motion.
Yes.
And I know that you vocalized that Chief Hegney approves it and that it's 20 feet or whatever the case may be. I just thought after we discussed it in committee, it would come to us with a properly written motion, and we don't have that. So it's up to you, I guess.
Thanks. Council Reynolds?
I just want to confirm that we did discuss this. It should be written out properly, and I don't think we should bring it out until the next 2 weeks, because that is the right way to do it, and we shouldn't be taking the shortcut here. So as much as we all approve of it, it's not written properly, so we shouldn't take it out. That's my concern.
Yeah, so here's where I'm at, so thank you for that. I agree. I think, Council Waterman, what I'd like to do is we'll withdraw the second on the amendment. We'll then go back, withdraw the second on the full motion. when these come in, it's so important that we're doing all the homework, we're getting everything in these motions, and, you know, it's not just this, it's other committees, it's everything, we have an obligation to ensure that we're getting this in, because we can't leave anything up to, there's too much ambiguity if we're not having it specific. And Councilor Holmes, I appreciate your comments about consistency, because I think that's important. So my suggestion is that we take back the second on the amendment, if you're, okay?
I'll withdraw my second.
Thank you. And Council Waterman, would you like Vice President Dolan to withdraw her second on the motion as is?
You may withdraw your second.
I withdraw my second.
Okay, thank you. So, Council Waterman, before we go on, just please try to get the proper, and maybe an email from the chief, something that we have in writing, and make sure that it aligns with the consistency. It's important.
And from the docket of November 5th, 2024, move to strike the following: to install a new stop sign at Jefferson and Fifth Street, creating a three-way stop, which was referred to the Traffic Study Commission.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments, Mr. Waterman?
No, I think I explained it last week.
Questions, comments, concerns on this? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And that concludes the business of the Transportation and Traffic Committee. I'll make the next appropriate time.
Thank you very much, Councilor Tavares.
Ordinances, elections, and legislative matters has no business for this evening. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Would you also,
Yep, the special committee for tax abatement review has no business this evening. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Councilor Angelo?
Thank you, President Dosey, reporting for Compensation Classification Committee. There's a Scrivener's error.
We're going to do that under old business,
Oh, okay.
so you can cancel the committee.
All right. Compensation Classification is canceled for today and call for a meeting at next appropriate time.
Councilor Fuller?
And the Rules and Procedures Committee is canceled for this evening. A call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time. And I would ask members of the committee to meet with me briefly, just to go over their schedules after this hearing tonight, after this meeting.
Send your availability through Virginia,
Fine.
and do not reply to all. So
Certainly
we're
not.
not violating open meeting law.
Right.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that courtesy. We have one piece of old business, and we have several pieces of new business. For the old business, we'll recognize Mr. Angelo.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Too late, too late.
There is a Scrivener's error to be corrected on vote number 21, compensation classification from November 19, 2024, as it is included position of outreach worker COA in two different tables on the classification plan. Original documentation from the mayor's office listed the position at ATS-3. Therefore, I move to delete outreach worker council on agent from the SATS one table and leave the position at ATS-3 as originally designated, and we have charts below for anybody that needs to see that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Mr. Angelo, any comments?
Just, this is, it came down, and it just needed to be corrected from a PDF, and we'll be all good with this.
Additional questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote, roll call. Councilor Tavares?
Yes.
Okay. This will be a roll call vote.
Just a point of clarification, where I didn't vote on the original vote, should I vote on this? Just from a,
No, I think you should abstain.
okay, I'll abstain
Yep,
from
and
this.
it's not
Thank you.
one where you have to leave the chamber.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Just, thank you.
So we'll have roll call vote beginning with Council Fuller then.
Ms. Fuller?
Yes.
Mr. Lavoy?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Dolan?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Angelo?
Yes.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 abstention.
Thank you, motion passes. We have several pieces of new business. So I have two pieces which I'll give up the chair and introduce me. We'll do that at the end. So we'll first recognize Councilor Fuller.
In order to comply both with the law and to facilitate our meetings, I am proposing to introduce a revised version of the public participation in public hearings.
So can you just read it as it's introduced on the sheet?
To introduce to the Rules and Procedures Committee to,
Just go back
sorry,
to, I
that's
move
the wrong
to.
one. To introduce an amendment.
Point of order, sorry.
I move.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I move to refer the following for study and recommendation, to introduce an amendment to the Rules and Procedures to define public participation in public hearings.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I think this is overdue and will help us more smoothly get through the public hearings process.
Very good. Thank you. Additional questions, comments, concerns? Thank you. This is a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That'll go to the Special Committee on Rules and Procedures. We will now recognize Mr. Waterman.
Yes, I have a piece of new business. I move to support this new business to refer the following for study and recommendation to introduce to the Rules and Procedures Committee to add, oh, I'm reading the wrong thing. Sorry. So, start over. I move to support a resolution of the Municipal Council for a study of pedestrian sidewalks in the city of Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, this is a whereas version of why I think we need to know where our crosswalks are, what shape they're in, whether we want to keep them or not, whether to improve them or not. Such a study, to my knowledge, has not existed.
So the new business, just to be clear, is for a resolution, not a study, correct?
Can I read this?
Well, not the resolution. You can read. I'm just asking for clarification because I think there's some confusion with the way it was presented. The new business is for a resolution, correct? You're not
Supporting a study of pedestrian sidewalks in the city of Attleboro.
But it's a resolution, correct?
Correct, it's a
So it's a
resolution.
okay, so I just want to be
Strictly a
clear.
resolution.
Okay, thank you. That clarification is important, so, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. So that'll be 10 yeas, 1 nay, motion passes. That'll go to the Public Works Committee, please.
Who was the nay? Excuse me.
Sarah Lynn.
Thank you.
We will now recognize Councilor Lavoy.
Thank you, President Delicio. I move to refer the following for study and recommendation: to create an additional curbside handicapped parking space in the Union Street and Dunham Street area.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
This was brought to my attention from management at the Jewel, one of the newer apartment buildings. Obviously, there's a few others being developed, and there's a couple families within the building that have handicapped issues and need additional parking space. And I just wanted to clarify that I did run this by Gary. He approved. His only concern initially was that the fire department wouldn't be able to get down there, but they currently detour because there's now parking on street that wasn't there before. So all
you.
checks out.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this will be a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. That'll go to Public Works. The other piece will be held. Some more research is needed on that. I'll now give up the seat to Vice President Jones.
Hi.
President Delicio.
Thank you. I move to refer the following for study and recommendation to introduce to the Rules and Procedures Committee to add and sustainability to the end of zoning and land use. It would then be Zoning, Land Use, and Sustainability Committee.
Second.
You can't second it.
I know.
Second.
Second.
We got 8 seconds, so it works. Anyone else want a second? No. Thank you. So this has been kind of a follow-up to the creation of the Sustainability Committee. I've talked with Mike Davis several times about this over really the course of the last year. I think the timing's right in order to do this, so I would respectfully ask the Vice President at the appropriate time to put it into the Rules and Procedures Committee.
That'll go to the Rules and Procedures Committee.
Sweet.
And this will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Can I go again? I move to refer the following for study and recommendation to appoint Michael St. Croix to the position of Assistant Auditor for the City of Attleboro.
Second.
This will be a voice vote. All those in favor?
Motion's in order.
Oh, motion's in order.
Got a few comments.
Do you have any comments?
I do, thank you.
President
Shaka. All right, so first of all, Michael will start on the 17th, so my ask with that, this go to Personnel, Veterans, Human Services, and through the Vice President to Mr. Angelo, that he would call for a committee meeting at 6:45 on the 17th, so Michael can come down and introduce himself. This has been a process. I know I've been working with Lynn Davin and our city auditor on finding the right fit. We've met with Mr. St. Croix a couple times. I have all the confidence in the world. He's going to do a great job. The reason this position came up is our accounting supervisor, Liz Black, who's just done a fantastic job for so long and has really helped keep that accounting department running, is going to, she's accepted another position within the city, so it opened up the opportunity to get Deb an assistant treasurer, an assistant auditor. So, I'm sure you'll all join me in thanking Liz for her service in the accounting office as she starts a new venture with the city.
Excellent. So that'll go to Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services. Does anybody else have any questions?
Just for clarification, we wouldn't bring him down on the 10th versus 17th?
Because he starts on the 17th.
Okay, all right.
Does anybody else have any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, real quick before we adjourn, so after tonight, we only have 2 meetings left. Next week will be committee for what came down tonight, and anything you want to get out by the end of the calendar year. The following meeting will be the 17th. That'll be the last meeting, as Christmas Eve is the following Tuesday. Tuesday after that is New Year's Eve. What we will be doing for anything that comes down in the Mayor's communication on the 17th, that needs to get voted out in the first meeting of the year, we'll do committee meetings prior to the full meeting on the 7th. So appreciate everyone's flexibility tonight. A reminder, we do have executive session next Tuesday, the 10th, at 6 o'clock. That being said, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is in order. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned at 7:01.